Hi there guys and welcome to Dino's World once again. Today I'll be reviewing the Samsung Galaxy E5. We'll be taking a look at the camera performance, the gaming performance and the browsing experience, and also we'll be doing a couple of benchmark tests. We'll also be taking a look at the differences between the E7 and the E5. So let's get started without further ado. Now taking a look at the device, up front you have the front facing camera, the sensors and the speaker. At the bottom you have the micro USB charging port, the 3.5mm jack and the primary microphone. You have a micro SIM slot with a nano SIM slot which also acts as the micro SD card slot, and the power on off button on the right hand side. You have the secondary microphone on top and you have the volume rockers on the left hand side. And at the back you have the LED flash, the camera and the speaker. The design concept is similar to that of E7 and it looks pretty sleek and compact and practical for a 5-inch display. The narrow bezels make sure that the phone is nice and compact, so one hand operation is a piece of cake. Height of the device is 141.6 millimeters, width is 70.2 millimeters, and thickness is 7.3 millimeters. Now taking a look at the phone, you get nice backlit buttons and the hard home key button. The user interface is pretty much the TouchWiz UI which we've all been used to with the Samsung devices, and you just need to pinch on the screen and you have all the regular shortcuts to the wallpapers, the widgets, the home screen settings and the themes. So you can navigate through the home screens as well. And as you can see, the USP of this series of phones has to be the Super AMOLED display, which offers 100% better contrast and 20% better color reproduction, and this is undoubtedly and undeniably the best display when it comes to the mobile phone viewing experience. Pixel resolution is 1280 by 720 and pixel density is 294 pixels per inch. So you have different themes to choose from, and you have different settings to play with to make it as pleasing as possible and as customizable as possible. So pull down the notification panel and you have all the shortcut settings that we are used to, and you can also change the brightness settings. You have the outdoor settings to offer better sunlight readability, and you can again change the notification toggle. I mean the quick shortcuts or quick settings toggle. You can add and remove settings, so you can have around 10 settings set at a time, so you can put those settings which you might be using frequently in that particular section. And again, talking about the picture clarity and the color reproduction is so freaking awesome, and the detailing is as good as it can get, that it would refresh your senses on any given day. And you have Android KitKat 4.4.4, the latest version of KitKat, running on this phone. And out of the total 16 GB of internal memory, you have nearly 11 GB available, which is more than sufficient, I guess. And you always have the option of expanding your memory up to 64 GB, and out of 1.5 GB of RAM you get 735 MB available, again more than sufficient to run most of the graphic intensive games. And you have a nice Qualcomm Snapdragon 410 quad-core processor clocked at 1.2 GHz. The system specifications are pretty good, and though it's a mid-range phone, it's offering almost anything and everything you could ask for. And you have a 2400 milliamp hour battery, which is more than sufficient for a 5-inch phone. And talking about the sensors available on board, you get an accelerometer, proximity sensor and screen orientation sensor. Benchmark scores: Antutu score is 21,237, quadrant standard benchmark is 12,057, and you get Nina Mark 2 score of 54.4 FPS. Again, decent scores for a mid-range device. And we'll take a look at the gaming performance right now. I'll play a simple game called Real Car Racing. It's pretty simple. It doesn't use up too much of your memory, too much of your RAM, or too much of your battery life, but the colors and the controls are pretty good and pretty interesting. And I believe games are played maybe after a hectic day's work. To relax for a while, you play a simple game to unwind. So this comes in handy because the color reproduction, the graphics, the frame rate and the controls work really fine, and at the same time it's not a too huge file that will take up or use up all of your memory. And it's a pretty useful game. The controls played out really well. And now we are playing Temple Run. to check out the tilt controls and the gameplay. There's no lag whatsoever, and given the kind of specs that you have on board, even heavy games like Asphalt 8 and Dead Trigger 2 should play without any issues whatsoever. And you have two other functions called multi-window function, wherein you can lay out, you can operate two apps at a time within two windows, and you can also drag and drop stuff from one window to the other. I've demonstrated that on my A5 review, so please check that. And even if you long press on the back button, you get a side panel with your frequently used apps. You can again edit and change those frequently used apps according to your liking. So that's another useful feature. So I've demonstrated that as well on my A5 review. I'm leaving a link so that you can check that out. So these features are again available even in this 4 and the E7. So that makes it extremely versatile and practical, and they are trying to pack in as many features as possible in this mid-range phone, which is a good thing as a customer for you and me. So talking about the browsing experience, I'm just opening up my website now, and the page loads up pretty easily, and the scrolling up and down also isn't a problem. And you can find all sorts of interesting and useful stuff on my website, so do check out my website if you haven't already. As you can see, the fonts and the colors come out really well even if you zoom in on the screen. So apart from that, the difference between the E7 and the E5. Now first of all, the screen size is pretty apparent. You get a 5.5 inch display for the E7. This one comes with a 5-inch display, and the RAM is 1.5 GB on this one, the E5, whereas it comes with 2 GB for the E7. And you get an 8 megapixel camera here when compared to 13 megapixel camera on the E7, and the battery is 2400 milliamp hour battery for the E5 when compared to 2950 milliamp hour for the E7. Now this is a video from my YouTube channel just to give you an idea of the online video streaming. You can find lots of interesting stuff like car reviews, bike reviews, scooter reviews, mobile phone reviews, headphone reviews, helmet reviews. You can also find my songs and food recipes, so stay tuned for all the action as it unfolds. And when you hit the multitasking button, the way the apps cascade is really interesting and pleasing to the eye. You can just slide them off, or you can just close them all at one go by hitting the close button, so that's pretty good. Looking at the camera options, you get a pretty decent camera app with all the features you can think of for a mid-range phone. You can click selfies using palm gesture or voice command, which is again an added advantage. You get a 5 megapixel front camera with a 120-degree selfie mode, so you can include all your friends without any issues. You have plenty of options and editing options to play with. You have the enhance button. You hit the enhance button and the picture is reproduced at the best quality possible. You have all the filters and all the layers that you can add to make it as fun and as personal as possible. You can also write on the screen, add some personalized messages, or draw on the screen to add that extra bit of emotion to your snaps when you're sharing it with your friends or your loved ones. So they've left no they've left no stone unturned when it comes to the E series, because they want to really make a point or prove a point as to who is the market leader here in India as well as on the world, because there have been a lot of brands that have been entering in the mid-range phone segment like Xiaomi and Vivo and Oppo, and despite them being around, Samsung wants to make a statement that they are the oldest players and they are really good at what they offer. So this comes across as a good value for money proposition. So this is a snap that I've just taken. Again, the snap comes out really well. The cameras have been really good. The rear camera is an 8 megapixel camera with autofocus. You can record videos at 1080p at 30 frames per second. You have different modes to play with, different modes to choose from, which adds a little bit of added advantage as well. This is the video clip that I've just shot, and to give you an idea of the video playback and how the video records. So despite this being a low light setting, the video records pretty well, and even the viewing angles are extremely good thanks to the Super AMOLED display. So all in all, again I say, be it the design, the hardware specifications, the display, and the RAM or the ROM, anything you can ask for or think of, they've tried to offer it at a very competitive price. So you should need to we can commend Samsung for doing that. And I'm a musician and a thoroughbred audiophile myself, so another thing I usually check for is the music app as to whether it has something special to offer. And you have plenty of features and modes. You have 7.1 channel virtual surround sound. You have different rooms and settings to choose from. So if you have a good pair of headphones, you can check my headphone reviews to zero in on one, and you can find yourself completely satisfied with the music quality that this phone has to offer. You have different preset modes. You have a 7-band graphic equalizer, you have 3D, you have bass, and you have extra clarity. You have other modes like sound alive, etc., to further enhance the music experience to your liking. Well, that's about it for now, guys. I just hope you found this video useful. If you did, please hit the like and the subscribe button and share it with your friends. I'm sure you'll find lots of other interesting stuff on my YouTube channel and my website as well. So stay tuned for all the action as it unfolds right here at Dino's Vault. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao, take care, and God bless.